The picture on the thumbnail is not clickbait. Border Patrol did actually come in the van at one of the checkpoints and search it. We will get to that later in the video. But first, if you don't know us, I'm Geo, and this is Allie.
And we sold everything we owned to live in a van full-time as a family of 4. And in this video, we are going to take you through everything that we learned while traveling for 8 weeks in Baja.
So number one concern of people in Baja is safety. And going in, I was scared. Number one, I'm a little nervous. I was scared because this is what we travel in as a family. This is our home, this is our house, and I feel somewhat of a need to protect us. Now, I've been to about 3 or 4 countries. Allie's been to about 34 countries. So she has a little bit more experience and was not as scared.
Yeah, I was more excited, not quite as nervous. Of course, we're traveling with our kids, so normal nerves, but overall, felt really good about our decision to go into Baja.
We know safety is a high concern on people's list. I was put at ease within a few days of being there. It felt very safe, and we'll go over what the most fears are, Border Patrol, crime, all that stuff, and how we felt. And we can only speak to our experience, but overall, we felt very safe.
Very safe. Next up, border crossing. So we chose to cross at the Mexicali West border. This is what you need to cross the border into Baja. You need your passport, you need your FMM paperwork, and you need some pesos.
Just forgot one thing, a good attitude. The FMM paperwork was a bit of a hiccup for us. Basically, Allie took care of everything, printed it out, filled it out. We had it there ahead of time, but we did not have a receipt for the FMM paperwork, and felt like it was a little bit of a shakedown. It's a strong word to use for it.
Yeah, I mean, they required that we had the receipt. There was no way around it. I did end up sending the receipt to the man behind the counter. He printed it out. He ripped it up in front of me and he put it in the trash. He said I needed to start over. So lesson is either print the receipt with everything or just do it when you get there. Everybody in line behind us was filling out the FMM paperwork at the counter and it went very smooth.
Quick side note, FMM paperwork is if you're going to be in Baja for over a week. So if it's under a week, you don't need to worry about it. If it's over a week, it's kind of this tourist permit visa that you need to get. Next up, the military checkpoints. So we opted to take a caravan into Baja, so we were traveling with a group of people, so we felt a little better. And even on our pre-caravan call, I remember my stomach getting a little nervous when the word checkpoint was brought up. Then when we got there, of course, I was nervous again. And the first one we were just waved through. The second one we were just waved through. The third one we were waved through. There's, I think, 8 total in Baja. And the fourth one was a little bit closer to a port city, and we were stopped and searched. And this is where the picture comes in. Here's some footage of that. We happened to have the GoPro running. We weren't trying to catch them in the act of anything. And it was super peaceful. They asked the kids' names. They asked us if we had any drugs or guns. We said no, and then we were sent along our way. So overall, the checkpoints were non-issue for us. Again, we can only speak to our experience. We also followed the basic Baja rule of you travel during the day, you never travel at night.
Yeah, we also travel with our valuables in our personal area.
Don't tell them where it is.
Or locked up. So, you just make sure that it makes sense to you. You don't want to have things out of your arm's reach when somebody's coming into your car. 2 things that I learned. One, some people have told us that traveling with kids is actually a benefit. They did open the slider door. The man immediately smiled. He asked their names, and it was a really pleasant conversation.
So if you're going to have kids, you should have them before Baja.
Also, we were told before heading into Baja that these checkpoints really are to keep us safe and the people of Baja safe. So if you really change your mindset that it's not a scary thing, that it's there to keep us safe, they're just doing their job, then really there's no reason to be nervous. Next is moving around Baja. Essentially, the peninsula consists of one highway that you follow the whole way, and it kind of branches off into the different places that you choose to visit. A couple things that we did that I think are essential. Before we got into Baja, we downloaded Google Maps. That was great because a lot of places in Baja didn't have service like we thought they would. Downloading Google Maps was super important. The second thing that we used a lot is iOverlander. That app has everything that you need. Not only does it help you find camp spots, but it gives you provisions like gas and water, things like that. So that's a great tool. The roads in Baja were really good. There was nothing really difficult to navigate where we wanted to go. And finally, you run into a lot of the same people down in the peninsula. That was a really fun treat, I think, that we would meet somebody at camp, then we would leave at different times, and then a lot of times meet back up. We'd meet a lot of people going north when we were going south, and vice versa. And that was a really fun, unique part, I think, of our Baja experience.
Agreed. It seemed like this abstract thought when we first heard it. I was like, it's not really going to happen to us. But put yourself out there if you're down there. Even if somebody is stationary, there's people that have been coming down there for 15, 20 years staying at the same spot. Like, they have so much information. So it's much different than a big national park in Colorado where people are out for the weekend or it's a week trip and everybody's just going different ways. So this is like very much you're on the same path. You're out there exploring. So it's a community feel, which was a really cool piece to the travel.
Definitely.
Provisions in Baja. So we were warned before we went in to make sure you stock up on a few things, and it's good advice. Like, there's not huge grocery stores down there,
right?
So you don't need to stock up for like a year's worth of supplies. But if you really enjoy organic chicken or a certain type of snack, you might want to get a little bit before you go in. Again, I overlander plenty of information on grocery stores and water. Water for us was a fairly easy process. We heard other people had trouble finding a hose. We have a gravity fill, so we just put the hose in and then they would pump the purified water into the van. Now, water is a whole situation that I was nervous about before. It ended up being very easy. Basically, we just took a lot of precautions so we wouldn't get sick, and we used these 20-liter drums of water that we constantly used for drinking. And then we filled up our van with purified water, so that's what we would use to wash vegetables and brush our teeth. Every spot we ate at, we had okay luck. Some of the spots we asked, do they use purified water to wash the lettuce and vegetables? It seemed very up to date.
Yeah, Baja is, I think, on a purified water system. So
Right.
I think everybody in Baja has access and uses purified water.
The types of grocery stores we're going to get into are small little tiendas. A lot of snack type food. And then if they have avocados, tomatoes, or onions, there might be 2 left,
Right.
which is just weird for someone coming from the United States, as terrible as that sounds. So if there's a couple avocados, it's not because they're bad, it's just because that's all they have for the day.
Yeah.
So you pick them up. There's a few big grocery stores, but it's not till you get further down into the peninsula. So La Paz has a Walmart and a lot of grocery stores. And then, of course, Cabo has whatever you want. We drive a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, so we have to put diesel in our van. If you don't have to use diesel, you have nothing to worry about. If you have to use diesel, there's way more knowledgeable people that have posted about this than me. Basically, you want to find low sulfur. From what we found, all of the diesel in Baja was low sulfur. We didn't run tests. We found some that said they were approved to be low sulfur, some said they didn't, but we were there for 8 weeks and our van ran fine. So not the expert on that, but we did not have any difficulties. What I would recommend bringing is diesel exhaust fluid, DEF. So just pick up the one from Walmart before you go, have it in the car. It came in really handy for us when we were over there, and it is hard to find. If you're a little more off the beaten path or in the Upper Peninsula, it's probably something that's not going to be around. I'm excited about this one. We're going to take you on a journey down through our spots in Baja, and we're going to quickly rate each one. Number system, 1 through 5, safety, bathrooms, and food. Like the 3 most important things.
Yeah.
And then we'll give you a little blip at the end about what it costs, and we'll put that in American dollars. Let's go.
First spot, San Felipe. We stayed at Club de Pesca. Scores here, 3, 2, 5. And overall cost for camping, $15. A 3 for safety, because we were in a group, we overall felt really good and safe, but there was a couple nights where we had some drifters walking through our campsite. Felt a little bit uneasy. Bathrooms, we gave a 2 because we were dry camping on a beach, which was amazing, but we had to walk a good amount, maybe 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes to get to the bathroom. Food, we gave a 5 because it was a short walk into the Malecon, the downtown district, and they had a wide variety of food to eat.
Next up, the Puertocito Hot Springs, about an hour and a half down from San Felipe. Campground was just Puertocitos. Scores were 4, 2, 0, and $30 for the night. 4 on safety because there was a guard. He slung a rope across, so it was pretty safe. At least there was somebody there. 2 on bathrooms because there were no showers and it was a little bit dirty. 0 on food because there was no food. This one was a bit overpriced. 30 American dollars, and the hot springs, not really worth it.
Next stop, we hit Bahia de Los Angeles. The camp was called Campo Archilon. We loved this campsite. We gave it a 5, 4, and 5. A 5 for safety because There was a main office that you checked in, that you paid when you got there. There were people around. It felt very, very safe. A 4 for bathrooms because they were very clean. They did have showers, although sometimes it was hot, sometimes it was cold. And a 5 for food because there was a cafe on site that was beautiful. The food was so delicious, so fresh. You could get breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and we enjoyed that. Overall cost, $8 per person. So if you're traveling alone or with somebody, not a big deal. For us as a family of 4, a little bit more, but definitely still worth it for us.
Next up, San Ignacio. And scores here are 4, 0, 5, and free. Goose egg. We camped on the town square in San Ignacio, and it was a 5 for safety because we felt very safe there. The town kind of welcomed you in. I think I looked up the population and it was around 200 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was super small. And we ate dinner on the square and talked to some people. There was police and guards driving around, so 5 on safety even though it was free camping. 0 on bathrooms because they were non-existent. You had to pay for them and they were extremely dirty when you went. 5 on food because we ate on the square and it was awesome. Food was accessible all around, even a short walk to a tienda or grocery store. We thoroughly enjoyed our San Ignacio camping experience. I would say it would be great for a 1 to 2 night stopover.
Next spot we found was Bay of Concepcion. We stayed at Los Cocos Beach right past the smaller town of Mulegé. If you're trying to get into Baja and really feel the Baja experience, this would be the first stop that really felt like true Baja. The waters got clearer, they got warmer, the beach was even more epic than what we'd seen up north. Scores here, 4, 1, 5. $10 per night to stay here, but $9 for us because we did stay more than a week and they gave us a deal.
So discount code is 1 week. Go there, tell the guy at the gate, 1 week. You get that $1 off a night.
4 for safety because there is a camper there that's kind of taking charge and he does sling the rope across every night. Felt very, very safe at night. 1 for bathrooms because they're pit toilets. We decided to rent a porta pot for our own personal use. It was great in the beginning, got pretty gross at the end. Food was a 5 because there are vendors who come every day, morning, noon, night, snack time. They open up their trunk and then you get to look inside and see what they have to offer. It's everything from fresh ceviche, fresh shrimp, fresh fish, to cookies and fruit platters and tamales and enchiladas, and everything you could imagine or want came at our disposal, and it was beautiful.
Continuing to go down south, next up was Loreto. Scores here were 5, 4, and 5. $16 a night for no electric, just kind of dry camping. So 5 for safety because there was a office and there was a gate and it was locked and we were all shut in and we were really close to people and there were a lot of Canadians in their big rigs, and yeah, there might have been 20 campers in this tiny parking lot, so felt very secure. 4 for bathrooms because they were a little bit cleaner, showers were nicer. We're also getting deeper into Baja, so our scores might be a little bit skewed as to what a nice bathroom is, but we felt good that the showers were hot. So 4 in Loreto, and 5 on food because we could walk into town and Loreto was gorgeous. It was the first small little town that we kind of got into that wasn't just tiny dirt roads. There were restaurants and tourists, and it was a place people really seek out. We really enjoyed walking around the town.
Yeah. Next we headed into the city of La Paz. We stayed at Campestre Marantha. This campsite gets a 5, 5, 5. And it costs $15 a night. A 5 for safety because you pull into a lot and they lock the door behind you. Very, very, very safe. A 5 for bathrooms because they were clean and abundant and beautiful and everything that we needed. And a 5 for food because there was actually a cafe on site that provided some smaller foods, but breakfast, lunch, and dinner that was really enjoyable.
Next up, La Paz. Tecolote. So we just drove a little bit further south and then kind of out on this finger to a popular free beach spot for camping. Scores here, 3, 0, 1, $0, my favorite. So 3 for safety because we were around a bunch of other campers. It was a huge, wide open beach, but there was no safety patrol or anybody there. It was just free open beach camping, but a little bit off the beaten path. Felt like you were safe and secure. 0 for bathrooms because there were no bathrooms. So you gotta be self-sufficient if you go. And 1 for food because there were shacks on the beach and they sucked us in and we went and it was, yeah, no bueno.
Continuing along, we stopped at Los Barrillos. Campsite was Martin Verdugo's Beach Resort. We scored this 5-4-5, and it cost $18 per night. 5 for safety because there was a lock every night to keep us safe. 4 for bathrooms because they were clean, they had hot showers, overall pretty good. And a 5 for food because it was a short walk into town.
Overall, we had a great time there. It is a very windy spot, so a lot of kite surfing and windsurfing if you're interested in that. But campground was super well established with a pool, so we did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Cerritos. Wow. We stayed at Cerritos Beach Club. Scores were 4-4, and it was $10 a night to park the van there right on the beach. 4 for safety because my man Eric slung the rope across and made sure we were safe at night. 2 for bathrooms because there were a lot of people parked on the beach in a dirt lot that used the same one bathroom and there were no showers. And 4 for food because you could walk into town and grab some food, but it's a very small town and you had to be selective. First place we went was very expensive, other place wasn't very good, so you kind of had to learn your way around before just dropping in for some food. Overall, I really enjoyed the spot because there is surfing, world-class surf break right out in front of the van. So it was awesome. The kids had a great time. The beach is lively, but
it's a dirt lot. It's dusty, it's dirty, it's sandy. So living in a van with kids, 4 of us, it felt dirty.
It did. It felt a little dirty, but the beach and the surfing was awesome.
It was.
Great if you're going there for that.
Still in Cerritos, we stayed a couple nights at Casa Caravan. We scored this 5-5-4. It cost $25 a night. I believe we got a discount for knowing somebody. It might be $30 a night.
So drop our name, Sprint Slow, if you go, say you know us.
Might get you somewhere.
Kidding. No
won't.
discount code for Sprint Slow. Just
5 for safety. It's a locked facility, amazing community of people there. You feel very, very safe. 5 for bathrooms, maybe the best bathrooms in Baja. Totally renovated, beautiful, hot showers, lots of space, everything you need. And a 4 for food, similar to what we talked about earlier. There are spots in town. You usually have to drive to them. You're not sure what you're gonna get, but I don't think we gave it a fair assessment overall. We didn't spend a ton of time there. We didn't eat out a ton, but there are great finds if you know where to go.
Our last spot on the peninsula was Cabo, as far as you can go. We stayed at Las Palmillas. Scores here are going to throw you a little bit. 2-0-0-0 for cost. 2 for safety because a fellow camper got knocked on. It's a non-emergency, not sure what it was, but it's a free camping spot, so those are always hard to rate really safe, so we give it a 2. 0 for bathrooms because they were locked up. 0 for food because there were no restaurants or anything to buy food down there. You had to bring all your stuff in, and 0 for price, which was amazing. This one was kind of a funny dichotomy. We met some people on the beach who stayed at the resort next door, which was $1,500 a night, and then we were free camping next door. So $1,500 a night versus free camping. It was a funny dichotomy between the two. But overall, that was our last spot. A few things we want to wrap it up with. One is Wi-Fi and connectivity. We touched on it. We are not the best with this. We both just have Verizon, but we pretty much had no service after San Felipe until we got to Cabo. Like no service, could barely make phone calls.
Yeah.
So some people have T-Mobile and then AT&T and a hotspot in the van. We are very minimal when it comes to that. So it did not suit us very well as far as Wi-Fi, and most of the people we talked to were pretty disconnected down there anyway, so just be prepared for that.
Overall, really kid-friendly, family-friendly, lots of other travelers exploring just like we were, so we felt really great with that. Tons of beach time, beautiful sunsets, beautiful sunrises that we enjoyed all the time, made it a really special place.
Cost of things in Baja were a little cheaper than the States, but we were surprised to find out that it wasn't that much less expensive.
Yeah.
We were traveling with a great couple that loved to go out to eat, so oftentimes we'd find like a brewery. Those are a little bit more American, so it was just American prices there. If we bought fish on the beach from a local guy, then it ended up being a lot cheaper than if you go into Whole Foods. But if you went into town, sat down, and ate at a restaurant, it was comparable to the States, just maybe a little bit less. But it is nothing like mainland Mexico, which is where we are now. So in summary, if you're thinking about going to Baja, you should definitely go. We had an amazing experience there. We feel like as far as van life goes, especially in the winter, it really rounded out our trip. We hit a rut in November and December for winter van time stuff, kind of feeling stuck. It totally revitalized us and made us feel like we were doing something that was very different.
And also just the weather made everything feel so much more alive for us. We were able to live outside like we always want in the van and have this new culture kind of at our doorstep. So if you are thinking about it, I know it's nerve-wracking, it could be a difficult decision, but definitely try to figure out how to get that experience.
Most people who have been there refer to it as California light because it really is just a little bit different than California. A little warmer, a little nicer, slightly cheaper. So if you have any questions, any comments, please drop one below. If any of this is valuable, it'd be awesome if you subscribed or liked the video. Thanks so much for watching.